In this video, we are going to cover 5 exercises that are related to material covered in Chapter 2. 4-propyl 2-methylpentane is an incorrect name for a compound. What is its correct name? A question like this sometimes confuses students because simply the student may wonder where if name is not correct, then how do we know which compound are we talking about? To start with, name is not correct. But actually, even though name is incorrect, we may be able to draw a correct formula, draw a formula that corresponds to an incorrect name, and then provide correct name for it. And that's the starting point here. We draw 4-propyl 2-methylpentane. You may right away see what is the problem, what is wrong with that name. And in fact, at this point, you may want to pause the video, answer the question on your own, and then compare it with the answer provided here. So you may have noticed that the longest chain is not pentane. It's actually heptane. It has 7 carbons. And you may want to redraw this formula in such a way that longest chain is shown as horizontal zigzag chain. Then compound is much easier to name. And from this formula shown on the right, you can see that correct answer is 2,4-dimethyl heptane, or A. Which of the following is a primary alkyl halide, a secondary alcohol, and a tertiary amine? So A is primary alkyl halide and is secondary alcohol, but we have NH group, that's secondary amine. So A does not fit, is not correct answer. B is also primary alkyl halide and secondary alcohol, yes, but it's primary amine. Even though carbon attached to nitrogen is tertiary, nitrogen itself is primary. So this question would confuse those who don't know how to classify amines properly. But this is primary amine. B is primary amine, not correct. C is tertiary amine. It's secondary alcohol, but it's also secondary alkyl halide. So D has to be correct. And if you look at D correctly, it's primary alkyl halide, secondary alcohol, and tertiary amine. So that's the correct one. What is the name of the following alkyl halide? So you have to use UPAC naming because it's complex alkyl halide, and in this case the longest chain has 7 carbons. So it's going to be heptane. Smallest set of numbers is obtained when you number that chain, parent chain, from left to right. So substituents are in position 3 methyl group, and in position 4 chlorine or chloro, and isopropyl. So name is 4-chloro, 4-isopropyl, 3-methylpropane. Obviously, you list substituents in alphabetic order. Trivial name of the following compound is, so there are 5 carbons in this alcohol. Trivial name for 5-carbon alcohol is amyl. And when you have a chain in which on carbon next to last there is methyl group as a substituent, then prefix is iso. So this is isoamyl. And since this is alcohol, this is isoamyl alcohol. Draw a perspective formula which correctly represents molecule shown by the model below. This is ball and stick model, and different colors represent different elements. These are standard colors that are used to represent particular elements. You don't need to memorize them. On an exam, you would be told which color represents which element. So here red represents bromine, purple iodine, green chlorine, and small gray atom is hydrogen. Sometimes hydrogen is also pale blue, so gray or pale blue would be hydrogen. At this point you may want to stop the video, provide drawing of your own, and then compare it with the answer shown here. So to draw a perspective formula, we will use solid lines to represent bonds in the plane of the drawing, wedge bond that projects towards us, and dash bond that projects away from us. And this is a perspective representation. So black carbon atom is shown at the center of the tetrahedron, straight bond that points straight up that is in the plane of the drawing is carbon-bromine bond, that's a solid line. Carbon-iodine bond is also in the plane of the drawing. It points to the right and slightly down. Carbon-chlorine bond projects towards us, so that's a wedge bond, and carbon-hydrogen bond projects away from us, so that's a dash bond. This completes Chapter 2 exercises.